Hi folks, it's a wonderful hot June day, UK in the middle of a heat wave here, and I've just got myself a new toy, as you can probably see through the front windscreen there. I've been after a new or a second camera for a while now, but been looking at GoPros, been looking at all the sort of cheap sort of Chinese alternatives for probably 5 or 6 months now, but haven't really seen anything that, shall we say, floated my boat. And then a few days ago I became aware that Drift have brought out a new cam, the Drift Ghost X. Retails at £129, and literally it's so new, there are very few reviews that are available, so I thought what I would do is I'd actually get hold of one and review it for you, but also quite selfishly for myself as well, because I've been looking for a camera essentially that's going to provide a little bit more feedback and information, not just to you watchers on the channel who've been sort of watching my progress, but also for myself. I wanted something that pointed at me, and I'm still experimenting with pointing it from over the right hand shoulder. I need to work out how to mount it on the top box. It will mount on the top box, but just how to secure it there properly. But as you can see now, I've got it in, I think, quite an interesting position there. And hopefully what you'll see is that it basically gives you the sort of full body view. So still experimenting with it, so I'll take you inside afterwards and just sort of show you how I've tethered it, because obviously with these sucker mounts, suction mounts, they if they fail, then you're going to lose your camera. So as you can see, I've invested in a highly technical piece of string at the moment. I've got a sort of a slightly higher tech version on the way, which is going to be some black shock cord, some of this elasticated stuff. Ordered myself a length of 4mm and a couple of these plastic toggles to actually fit the thing on with, which should secure it very nicely. And the reason I've got a few bits of string waggling around there in the wind is I've been experimenting with putting the suction mount both inside the screen and outside the screen. So inside the screen, obviously it's protected from the weather, and it might move there on sort of wet days or you know, snowy days through the winter. But just moving it literally just a few inches forward and actually mounting it outside the screen actually does significantly increase the field of view. So I've got it on 140 degrees at the moment. And the idea that being that you can also you'll be able to see my head movements in terms of am I using mirrors or not, what am I how am I actually using my sort of visibility and observation skills, but also hopefully you can also be able to see my hands on sort of clutch, brake and so forth. So give a chance to give me some more feedback on how I'm using my hands, so I'll brace myself for that. But yeah, so I think for £129, I think the cheapest GoPro you can buy is 200. And with the Drift Ghost X, it's not a 4K camera. It does 1080p, I think 50 frames a second. I'll just need to check that for you. But it's certainly 1080p anyway. And when I looked at some of the sample footage on my machine before, I just tried a little bit of sort of shooting myself, and it looked absolutely great, to be honest. So, but this is very much a secondary camera. Doesn't have a 3.5mm jack on it for a microphone. It has got a USB jack, and in the box you get like a little short conversion cord to convert I think it's a mini USB into a 3.5mm jack. Now again, how that stands up to the rigours of winter I don't know. Personally I wouldn't use that just for water ingress, but I think you actually can get a waterproof case. But this is very much a first impressions video. For those of you, I've had a number of inquiries of people asking what sort of camera setup I use, and you can no longer buy the Drift Ghost S. I must be honest, I think it's a great camera. I've been really pleased with mine. But for me, this is actually a no-brainer, and I would also argue that the Drift Ghost X is what I'd call a GoPro killer as well, because if you're looking for a reasonably priced helmet cam, or a cam you can sort of fix onto your bike, or even if you want to buy several, your pockets are a bit deeper. Just keep an eye on this lorry here. Then for 130 quid, comes with a couple of clips as well, the curved mount clip and the flat mount clip, the sort of stick-on ones. And also what I bought as well, I spent, I think it was at 16 or 17 pounds on the Drift suction mount clamp, and I've got to say it's a really nice piece of kit. You probably can't tell from this angle, but the sucker on it is probably as big as the bottom of let's say a large mug that you put a cup of tea or a cup of coffee in. So significantly bigger than the sort of normal sort of small size. You know, get these sort of cheap suction clips off eBay and things like that. And also significantly bigger than the suction mount I've had on sort of Garmin GPS as well. So and it really feels it's very, very solid actually. But as I say, the string is just there as almost like a safety net really. So I'm due to be meeting up with Dale tomorrow. We're going down to Wiltshire, and hopefully got a new series of films for you, so we can actually sort of test it in anger there. So we'll see what we see. Anyway, let's take it indoors, shall we? And if I sort of show you what came in the box, and I'll give you a bit of a sort of a closer heads up in terms of how I actually mounted it to the bike. It was a very simple process actually. One of the great advantages I love of the Drift series of cameras is these lenses. The lens actually rotates through 360 degrees, which gives you sort of massive what's the word, opportunities really, flexibility in terms of where you're going to mount it. And for me, the other sort of killer feature on this camera, that out of the box it comes with a 5 hour battery life. You can put a 128 gig card in it, although you probably wouldn't need to actually, but I've got a 64 gig. I think I paid about £12 for that. So it just means there's a lot less faffing around when you're actually doing motorbike video, particularly if you're on tours and things. And I've got to say, for me, 4K is I can understand why, you know, some people like it, but your file sizes are so much larger. Upload times, you know, particularly if you have a, you know, slowish internet. I've got my internet's 0.8 of a megabyte, would you believe? So it takes forever to upload the videos. And you know, for most people, do we really need 4K? You know, how many people are watching YouTube on 4K TVs with, you know, huge, you know, 60, 100 megabyte download speeds? I would suggest it's still in a minority. So for me, the fact it doesn't have 4K is not a showstopper. For some of you, it might be, and therefore, obviously, you've got to go down the GoPro route. But if you're looking for a decent camera, this isn't a budget camera. This obviously, you know, comes on the back of all Drift's experience, and I've got to say I've been delighted with the Ghost S over my first 6 months, and I hope you've appreciated, you know, the sort of quality of the films, you know, in terms of the specification of the camera and so forth. So the fact for £129 you get a 1080p camera. I'm not sure whether it's 30 frames per second or 50. I think it actually, on my memory serves me correctly, it might be 30. You get the 5 hour battery life. You get the two sort of sticky plastic brackets in the box. You get the USB to microphone 3.5 microphone jack converter, and you can rig it up on one of these suction mounts as well. So basically for 150, 160 quid you're ready to go, and I think that's a really good deal, you know. And as I say, some of you may want to buy several of these and sort of stick them at various points. You could have them pointing backwards if you wanted to, mount on your top box, you know, do what you want really. But anyway, there we go. So that's my sort of quick heads up. I think this is absolutely, I think Drift are going to sell a lot of these, simply because at that price point I just think it competes very well with GoPro. It does more or less everything you want it to do, and I think it's actually going to do very, very well. So let's go inside. As I say, let's take a look at the unboxing, and we'll see what you think. Okay, just brought you out to the garage just to show you what you get in the box with the Drift Ghost X. So nice little box.
take the lid off. I've taken away some of the packaging just because you don't really want to see that, but you can actually see the camera there itself is actually is relatively small. So if I now introduce the Drift Ghost S, you'll actually see, won't you? It's there is quite a significant difference, isn't there, in size? And I'd say probably this is probably, what, maybe even 2/3 the size, something like that. So form your own opinion, really. But you know, you can see there that's the back end, because I'm actually currently in the process of charging this for tomorrow's ride with Dale in Wiltshire. On the back of the Drift Ghost X, you just have a screen there. And again, one of the features of the if I just show you the sort of tops of both of these cameras, you can see they probably use fundamentally the same architecture. So you've got your little light on the front, which basically is on solid green if the thing's powered up and flashes red when you're recording. Then you've got this key here, which you can this will actually switch it on. You can also set it to a one touch to actually switch it on and start recording as well if you want to. And then these two basically sort of do various sort of jiggery pokery with the menus. I'm not the kind of person to go through menus in details. I've no doubt people with anoraks on YouTube will do that in the near future. My purpose today is just to introduce this Ghost X as I think a viable camera for those of you who are looking for something that's really cost effective for taking decent sort of motorbiking vlogs as well. So I really like that. Just another little feature as well is that I've noticed that the menu on the back actually lights up. So for example, if you're actually videoing, it actually lights up red, which is quite interesting, and you can actually see the menu in there. But it's a very simple setup, I have to say. So that's the basic thing itself. So what do you get in the box? Well, as usual with Drift, you get the usual. You get a little couple of little stick-on clips there. One sticks on a curved surface, one sticks on a flat surface. You also get a cable in there, a mini USB cable, so you can actually charge the thing up, and also so you can actually download without taking the card out if you want to do that. And as well in there's actually a little converter which converts the micro. The mini USB into a 3.5 jack as well if you actually want to use a microphone on it. Now that's going to work well obviously in dry weather. I don't suspect that's waterproof actually, and I can't comment on the waterproof cover for this because it's not something I'm actually going to buy, so you'll have to look elsewhere for that. But for me, I just think for 129 quid you actually can't go wrong with this, so I'm absolutely delighted. You get a little instruction book, get a couple of stickers as well, so stick those on whatever you like. So that's it then, and you know, you just get the sensor. I just sort of show them side by side. In case you're wondering what that is, by the way, this is my continuous quality improvement as demonstrated by Back to the Bike when I rode out last time with Dale. Remember, I got my first ever bug splat, so that's just a little picture of a bug just to remind me to have a look. Okay, so everything's covered. Hope you join us tomorrow for that ride, yeah? Okay, let's just take a quick look at the bike as well and show you my modification. Here's the suction mount, which is the Drift proprietary part, and I've got to say I think it's absolutely brilliant. You get a really good sort of solid suction mount down here, and that's got to be, you know, in sort of new money, probably 10 centimetres across. I would say it's bigger than a large sort of you know, teacup really along the bottom side of it, and it is absolutely rock solid as well. So it's the usual thing where you press this little button in the middle, and then you basically pull this clamp up, and you can see there's like a sort of a cam there at the bottom which tightens the thing on, and as I say, it's absolutely rock solid. And the roads I've just been over there in that video just sort of show you it was really bumpy. And I've read a couple of reviews of this, and generally speaking, once that thing is on, it's not going to come off. But you can't assume that, because you're going to have 160 quid's worth of stuff you know, sitting on the front of the bike. So were it to come off, you need a fallback plan. So as you can see here, I've got this very impressive piece of string here, made of finest extruded Ecuadorian vinyl, which I actually found in the bottom of my sort of rubbish box, and I've basically just looped it. You can see I've sort of looped it around the back of the screen there. So were it to come off, I've actually tied this with a loop and just a little clip just to the back of the suction mount there. So were the thing to fall off, it's actually not going to fall any further than this. So clearly, if you do put these tethers on, you need to be careful that if whatever camera you've got does fall, it's not going to foul your wheels, your steering, and so forth. So you a bit of I suppose my experience in the aerospace industry would show that you need to sort of think these things through in terms of safety, because obviously you don't want to foul up. So and obviously use the same kind of string as me. Joking apart, I've actually ordered some black 4mm shock cord, which is like a sort of elasticated cord, and a couple of these little plastic clips that you get on the end of sort of coat. When you sort of pull your coat up with one of these drawstrings, and there's like a little plastic stopper on. So I've got those, and that's going to make that much neater. Yeah, this bit of string on the inside here, this is what you saw flapping around on that little bit of video. This was my first attempt at just using a shoelace, actually, again, just to come up with a lanyard for when I was actually mounting the camera on the inside. Now, I think in the winter I will mount the camera on the inside, because otherwise the camera is going to be exposed to all the dirt and clag coming off the road, which I don't really want, particularly in that position, as you can see on the front of the bike. But I think probably I'll actually get rid of this. I'll actually cut this off. So it's just, as I say, constant evolution really. But I just think it adds a great new dimension. I hope you like that. And I can honestly see this becoming the sort of de facto standard for filming from the front of the bike. And if you sort of, you look at where the thing actually fits on there, it's not, it doesn't block your view. If you look at it that way, if you take a look at it this way, again, it doesn't block the view at all, and I really think this is going to become the standard. So just remember where you saw it first on Back to the Bike. Now, clearly, if you want to buy one of these, they've literally just hit the shops. You can get them on Amazon. You're looking at £129. I'll put the link below. And obviously, full disclosure, if you buy it through that link, then I get a little bit of commission out of it, which just helps me sort of fund the channel, so that will be great. Also, the suction mount as well, I strongly recommend that. Is just so solid. And I stuck a 64 gig memory card in, so like I said, the thing has a 5-hour battery life, and with even with a 32 gig memory card, that gives you about probably in the order of 3.5 hours. So you're going to get 7 hours out of your memory card. You're going to get 5 hours out of your battery. That's enough for most people, I would suggest. Now the thing is, with the Drift Ghost X as well, they do actually do an enhanced battery that will give you 8 hours as well for those of you sort of real road warriors, who do a lot more miles than me. So that might be worth it.
So it's a really good bumpy road, actually. Just a chance to road test the fitting. So far, so good. I think another advantage with the Drift Ghost over the GoPro is the fact that the Drift Ghost is aerodynamic. It doesn't sort of stick out like a massive piece of scaffolding on the side of your helmet. If you've seen some riders who use that particular technique, so not only does that create buffeting, turbulence as well, but I don't know, I just think aesthetically it doesn't look particularly good. So I just feel as though the Drift Ghost is a nice understated design, actually. Yeah, nice day for it. I'm just testing out the new camera today. Testing out the new camera. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, run a channel, Back to the Bike. If you have a look, I'll put you on. So, where are you off to? It's a good job you guys do. It's a good job you guys do. Fantastic job. Oh, yeah.
We enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, it's appreciated.
I'm suffering today though with this.
Yeah, it's warm, isn't it?
It's horrible.
Yeah, I'm just on the process of taking my IM at the moment with Northampton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's for the insurance.
Yeah. Cheers.
Take a look, see what you think, and leave your comments. And as ever, ride safe, and hope you join us for tomorrow's epic tour with Neil and Dale in Wiltshire again. So see you again, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and this is Back to the Bike signing off.